Welcome back to the further adventures of I Drink and I Stack Things, the show that will get around to it. You don't have to remind me every few months. Tonight we're going to be talking about stacker trackers, that software that you use to track your stack when you don't want to just write it down on pen and paper. I cover a few different ones so you can see what's best for you and finally get rid of that spreadsheet. Just a reminder before we get started that this show is not sponsored, and I bought everything you see here when necessary with my own money. Tonight's beer is from Boulevard Brewery, and it seems rather apropos considering that this is the month with St. Paddy's Day in it. It's an Irish cream stout, and it has a little ritual that goes with it. Basically, you flip the can over 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Then you open it, and you hard pour it into the glass. Just like that, and we'll watch it transform over time. It is made in collaboration with 5 farms in County Cork, Ireland, who I assume provided the milk, or the cream rather, for the Irish cream before it was barrel aged. And as you can see, it draws a nice little perfect head there. Let's give it a try. Okay, you can absolutely taste the cream and therefore by extension the creaminess of it. This is something truly unique. I think if you can find it, you will find it rather special. It actually wasn't that expensive either. I think it was less than $5 a can from my local beer store, but of course your mileage may vary. Anyway, let's get into the trackers, shall we? When it comes to tracking your stack, there are a lot of ways to do it. The aforementioned, just writing it down on paper in a ledger. You can make a spreadsheet on your computer, but lately there have been several apps trying to get your attention when it comes to this. Well, I've tried several different apps, so you don't have to. I'll give you a breakdown of their usefulness, the costs, and who I think they're really for. Plus, stay until the end and I'll show you a bonus one that's just a browser extension. Okay, first of all, here are the players in no particular order. Gold Folio, Precious Metals, My Ounces, Stack Tracker Gold. In the 5th category, we will include those apps that come attached to a store, such as Bold or JM Bullion or AppMex and others like that. I'll start there first because there's a clear limiting factor with these. They're there to sell you bullion and to buy yours. Any kind of tracking is an afterthought. They will track things that you buy from them, but their support for metals bought elsewhere varies from very limited to none at all. They will cover any type of metal they sell, including gold back. Now, next up, we have Stack Tracker Gold. It covers gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. This one is on the web, but it also has an app, although only for the iPhone, but you can use the web app on your Android phone if you wish. The app looks beautiful, as you can see from these pictures, and will allow you to enter bullion you bought from anywhere, as will all the rest of these. I will note the biggest shortcomings I found were that you can't include photos if that's something you like to do. There's no support for gold backs at all, and even for constitutional silver, you will have to know the net weight of the silver in order to enter it properly. The big selling point of Stack Tracker, though, is that it includes an AI assistant that gives you a daily brief, market analytics, and a whole bunch of advanced features that someone who is actively trading precious metals on a regular basis would likely appreciate. That's not me, though, so I don't really know all the details of the analytics and how useful they will be. But they do have a 7-day trial so that you can check it out. But if it is something you want, you should know that it comes at a pretty steep cost. $10 a month or a lifetime subscription that costs a whopping $200, making it the most expensive tracker on this list. But it could be worth it for the right person. I just don't know who that is. Next up, we have myounces.com. This is a website that has a detailed tracker and real-time stats for trading, although not nearly as detailed as Stack Tracker Gold was. The upside of it being a website is that it can be made into an app for various devices, and they have a tutorial explaining how to do that. So if you want it to be an app on your Android phone or your iPhone, you can do that. It covers gold, silver, platinum, palladium, and goldbacks. Its main focus, though, is privacy, in that your data never leaves your device. Even if the site gets hacked, they can't give out any personal information because they don't have any. You don't even need an email account to start using this app. Even if you pay for the pro version, that information is not connected to the app, and you can download your data for backing up. One downside is that if you want to use My Ounces on multiple devices, you'll need to copy that data over to the other device. Beyond that, though, it is very thorough in terms of both stacking and collecting, and it has hands down the most comprehensive goldback coverage on this list. It lets you track them for stacking as well as collecting, and even includes silverbacks. You can add serial numbers, grading information, and it even has settings for alpha and other limited editions. Entry for any item is relatively painless. It did not take me very long to enter my entire stack into the whole system. Though I will say it does not support adding pictures, so if that's a big deal to you, you might want to pass on this one. If you want to add more than 7 items, the Pro version has a one-time fee of $40, but it is good for up to 5 devices. Anyway, I need to take a break after all that reading and talking. Fortunately, I have some delicious beer here with which to wet my whistle. Next is the first of 2 dedicated apps I'm covering, which are available for both Android and iOS, but no other platforms as far as I can tell. First up, Precious Metals with a Z covers gold, silver, goldbacks, platinum, palladium, and copper, covering the most metals of any app I'm reviewing here. It supports goldbacks, though not as thoroughly as My Ounces does, but it also has the option to add photos of everything. Although I will say one thing, you need to take the picture in advance because it can pull it from your gallery, but it cannot access the camera, so there is that shortcoming with it. It also has a face value option for adding your constitutional silver without having to do all the math. You could just tell it, I have 100 mercury dimes, or more accurately, $10 worth of mercury dimes, and it will figure out how much silver is in there for you and do all the math. So that's convenient. Now, just like My Ounces, it doesn't put your data in the cloud, and it offers the ability to back it up. I didn't see any limits to how much you could add on the free plan, but the app does include ads, which makes sense, I guess. Paying $1 a month for the subscription will remove that, and it'll also add some analytics for you. All in all, I think this is a good middle ground app with a lot of good options and a wide breadth of coverage. Though if you're really into goldbacks, you might find it lacking. Also, if you have a very large stack, you may find it cumbersome to enter things compared to something on the web where you can use your keyboard, though. And finally, we have Goldfolio. It covers gold, silver, platinum, palladium, and copper. It does not cover goldbacks in any meaningful way, though. You can enter the weight of your goldbacks, but that's about it. What it does have going for it is that you can add a lot of details about graded slabs, and it lets you add notes for any items you deem appropriate, as well as photos, and it works with the camera also. It has basic coverage of constitutional silver, and probably its biggest selling point is that it's completely free. They have a tab for buying and selling bullion, which I think is how they pay for the app. It's not bad, it's just not as comprehensive as the others we've covered. One more drinky drink, I think. That really hits the spot. Oh, I did mention that we have a bonus tracker. It's a Chrome extension that you can find in the Chrome web store. I found out about while I was looking for Stack Tracker because it has the same name. It's incredibly basic though, covering only gold and silver, allowing no extra info, and worst of all, you can only enter one asset before you're asked to cough up $5 for the full version. You get some more detailed stats, but I don't think it's really worth it. I kind of just threw it in there for shits and giggles, honestly. So, given that, which one would you pick? Well, before I say, I should point out that while all of these have a means to back up and restore your data, they are not interoperable. I found that out the hard way. What I mean is, if you want to migrate from My Ounces to Precious Metals, for instance, you better know your way around Excel. In fact, I do, and I kind of had mixed results with it. So my pick for the best all-around is My Ounces. It has the most comprehensive goldback support, which is a big deal to me. It also takes privacy extremely seriously, and I was able to enter my complete stack relatively quickly thanks to being able to do it on my PC. However, following extremely close behind is Precious Metals. I picked this one as the second best because you can do a lot with it on the free version. It exceeds my ounces in some areas, and it would have won if it had better gold back support or had a lifetime purchase option. I hate subscriptions, but as I said, you can do a lot with Precious Metals without subscribing. That said, your needs are going to vary. For instance, if you do a lot of day trading in bullion, you're going to get a lot more use out of Stack Tracker Gold with its AI assistant, I think. And they do have a free trial if you want to give that one a try. So those are my recommendations for you. I hope you found this informative. I hope I answered your questions. If there's something you feel I left out or a question that's been left unanswered, go ahead and put it in the comments and I will take a look at it and see if I can answer your question. All the sources to download the trackers I covered are in the description. I also included this handy little chart here if you want to pause and take a look at what my findings were as I did this. But that's it. I'm going to finish my beer, so in the meantime, slancha if you drink, and keep on stacking.